Joining us now to talk more about this is former acting attorney general, Newsmax analyst, and a good friend of the program, Matthew Whitaker. Matthew, great to see you again.
Hey, John, great to be with you. Greetings from Iowa.
Look, Iowa, what a special place. I was just thinking, the Iowa State Fair next summer is going to be amazing, and I hope to see you there. But let's talk about
I'm there.
January 6th and what we're going to hear today from the committee. There's been a lot of talk from Democrats and the leftist media. They want to make it sound like Donald Trump and his supporters are trying to rig the 2024 election. They talk about Raffensperger, who, by the way, beat Jody Hice, a Trump-backed candidate. A few months ago, they were warning of this conspiracy theory that Trump was going to install these secretaries of state so that he can have providence over the 2024 election. Now, again, there's nothing new that we're going to hear today from Raffensperger, is there?
No, and in fact, we've all heard the transcript, those that are paying attention to the news. But you know what? Let's remember that Raffensperger is the one that sent all these absentee ballots out to registered voters in Georgia, the subject of the 2000 Mules movie and a lot of the challenges that we faced in 2020, during the COVID crisis. But, let's just, the president asked if there were, he had a conversation with this guy, seeing if there was a way that there were uncounted ballots. I mean, obviously everyone knows, including President Trump, that you can't just, create ballots out of nothing. But Raffensperger is to some extent the one that created this mess in Georgia in the first place. And so I think this is going to be a complete waste of time. Usually I recommend people watch the Stanley Cup playoffs. Unfortunately, it's an off day today. And so I think there's probably things on the Cooking Channel that are better, or Newsmax.
Yeah, it's summer. It's time for summer baseball too. I guess you don't have any day games today. It's not like the old days where the Cubs were playing every day during the day. But I'm sure people can find something else to watch. Maybe they want to stay. We're going to dip in and pay attention to what's going on, but we're not going to let the committee have its way with 1 hour program today. Again, I want to focus a little bit more on this. This really upset this narrative that Donald Trump was handpicking these secretaries of state with Brad Raffensperger winning. And I think this also shows us the power of election integrity. Brad Raffensperger, I think, has some regrets about the way 2020 went down. He and Brian Kemp have changed a lot of the things that the way the Georgia elections work. They have proudly said it's now easier to vote and harder to cheat in Georgia. And I think because of that, that's one of the reasons why he was reelected, or at least in the primary.
Yeah, John, this is an important point. There are several states, including Georgia, that did improve their election integrity. At the same time, I think being frustrated with some of these election officials that in the sort of era of COVID decided to fundamentally change the rules of the election that had already been passed by the state legislature, I think is dangerous. And the Constitution is very clear that the state legislature has the power to set the time, place, and manner for voting. And so when you have election officials decide to do something different, like sending out mass ballots to every registered voter, like we saw in several states, including Nevada, Georgia, and to some extent California, Arizona, that you end up with, the high propensity for fraud. And, Bill Barr, before the election in 2020, even said so that this mass sending out of absentee ballots is going to lead to more fraud. It is just the way the system, unfortunately, is built.
And, I often think about this, too, Matthew, what happened in the emotion and the panic of 2020, the changes that were made in states like Georgia and how impactful that was. And it's a reminder when you talk about things like gun control, how dangerous emotions can be, and actually pushing forth legislation or policies that are going to help everyone and actually address these problems. A lot of folks agree there are issues, whether it's with election integrity or with guns, but just doing things based on emotion isn't always isn't the best way to do things. I want to play a clip, too, from that quote-unquote perfect phone call back in January 2nd of 2021. This is President Trump talking with the Secretary of State of Georgia, Brad Raffensperger.
The people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
If there was something so explosive on this phone call, this has been out there for a long time, Matthew, why has nothing come of it yet? If there was some kind of criminal activity that took place on this phone call, there were all kinds of lawyers on that phone call. It was obviously recorded. But yet here we are. This is like the key piece of evidence they want to focus on today?
Yeah, it is. And, the sad thing is that at the time, the information that President Trump had is not going to be even discussed. And so, you're going to have a very one-sided, and we've talked about this before, John, how, there's no cross-examination, there's no witnesses to counter the witnesses that the committee's bringing in front of them. It's a complete kangaroo court, made for TV, political ad. It's too bad that this committee doesn't want to look into the intelligence failures, the security failures, and some of the other things that actually need to be fixed related to what happened on January 6th. Political violence is never acceptable. What happened on January 6th, people were prosecuted and continue to be prosecuted. I'm concerned equally to your other point, which is when Dobbs' opinion comes out from the Supreme Court, I am bracing for some real serious political violence where police officers and our fellow citizens could be threatened, injured, hurt, or otherwise affected. And so it shouldn't be acceptable on either side.
Given the charged nature of our political discourse right now, not the best time for late night TV crews to be staying behind in the Capitol. We're not supposed to be there. That's a topic for another day. But real quickly, I want to get your reaction to something that President Trump said yesterday here on Newsmax. He was talking to Eric Bohl, and he was asked about this January 6th investigation. He specifically talked about Adam Schiff's role in pushing this claim that Trump was part of this fake elector scheme. Here it is.
So Adam Schiff is that's the same group of terrible people that did the Russia hoax and the Mueller hoax and all of the other hoaxes, the impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2. Same Adam Schiff. It's a shame that these people are allowed to continuously do this. This is a new one. This is yet another hoax. And it's the same people. It's the same exact people. It's him and his little group. And it's a shame. It's really a shame.
We talked about this yesterday, Matthew. Schiff's already been busted, kind of flubbing the evidence with what he's presented here. He was basically demoted from his role during the impeachment on this trial because of his problems with the truth in the past. The question is, why does he still get this type of opportunity? He's been, his trouble with the truth has been obvious to so many of us. So why is he even still part of this?
Yeah, he is truthfully challenged. I think the only reason that he continues to have any role on the January 6th committee, on the Intelligence Committee, or any of these other committees is because he has a fairy godmother in Nancy Pelosi, who's a fellow liberal from California. Adam represents essentially Hollywood. Nancy represents the most liberal parts of San Francisco, both with massive homeless crisis, massive crime problems. The political leadership has failed them. And so, Adam Schiff, I think in the next Congress could face some serious demotions in addition to being the minority. He could not maybe serve on any committees because Republicans in the House certainly know what he's about and his, past, episodes with the truth.
Committeeless Schiff could be a nickname for Adam Schiff in the future. Matthew Whitaker, great to see you. As always, enjoy Iowa, beautiful Iowa. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. It's hot.
It does get hot out there and cold in the winter.